Yeah, you got a lot of shit.
I did. My wife's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "She's like, we do not have room for that." I'm like, I know. I was like, "That's the end. I'm not gonna buy anything for a while. I'm just gonna keep it digital after this. I promise."
Sure,
But,
sure.
I know. But I gotta read this all, so it's gonna keep me going for a while. What's up?
What up?
CBBC number 8.
Great.
Number 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
Welcome everybody. Yep, we're covering what are we doing this week? Plot number 1.
Plot
I
number
think plot
one.
number 1 by Tim Daniel and Michael Marisi with art by
Yeah.
Joshua Hickson. It's a Vault Comics title. We're also doing Immortal Hulk 23 by, of course, Al Ewing and Joe Bennett from Marvel Comics.
Yeah.
But welcome to the show. We're gonna
Yeah.
talk
Welcome to the show.
some
Sorry,
comic books.
we should have done number 24. We didn't factor in to the release date when we picked 23. So if you want to add,
Yeah,
sorry.
we'll try
Sorry.
to be better about that in the future.
Yeah.
But you should read both of them, to be honest. If you haven't read 23,
Right.
24, it's out. I doubt that you could read 23 and not want to read 24
Yeah, for
after, you
sure.
know.
Yeah.
So, but did you read anything this week?
No, I read. I read four Immortal Hulks to catch up to 23, and then I just read the plot. Once it's the same as last week. I've been gaming. It's too many games coming out. I gotta
I know.
dedicate myself.
There's a lot.
So,
There's a lot. I
yeah.
uh I went on a feasting frenzy. Let's do some show and tell here. I have a problem clearly, but I got Criminal. This is volume 3. This is the old series before he rebooted it now. But I also
Nice.
got Snow Glass Apples. It's Neil Gaiman and Colleen Doran does the artwork. This is fantastic, man.
Is
Like,
that is that new or?
yeah, yeah, it's new. It's from Dark Horse, but the if you can see the artwork, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, that looks
I
awesome.
mean, it's like it's sort of unreal that it's not like your average title. It's like she pretty much she put a lot of work into that. So
Right.
it's pretty great. It's like the story of Snow White but inverted. Like Snow White's actually um well, I'm not gonna spoil it, but yeah, it's some role reversal in there. I also got I guess I should have continued this from the last one, but Ed Brubaker does Criminal. He also did a one-off with Sean Phillips, his go-to artist, called The Fade Out, and it's like Hollywood in the 30s.
It's pretty
So
thick.
it's very big. Yeah. I haven't touched it yet, but and then speaking of also Neil Gaiman again, I was in Lafayette, Louisiana over the weekend. I went to see Hart and in concert. And
Yeah,
while I
I
was
heard about
there,
that.
yeah, oh man, it's so great. But I wanted to visit the comic book shop because I hadn't been to that shop since high school, and I was like, I just want to stop in just for old time's sake. So I went there and I picked up this Death Compendium, which is connected to Sandman.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, it's awesome. I read the 4, but there's 4 issues, but there's also some extra issues that are included in the compendium here. Monstrous. Volume 4 came out. I don't know. Did you see that? Weren't you
Nice.
reading
No, I
that?
didn't. Yeah, I did start reading that. I fell kind of behind, but
It's so
that
wacky.
book's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. The art is just so insane.
Yeah, I can't. Is that monthly? Like that has to take so long to make that art.
I
Like
know. I don't know
it's
how she
like this
does it.
so detailed. But
Sana
it's
Takeda is the artist, and yeah, it's just. I wish we would see more manga style artists in the comic industry,
right.
and that it wasn't split off. Because you see manga, but it's always like it's in its own section and it's split off. And I don't mind going there and getting my books there. I mean, I like Junji Ito and I like a lot of manga stuff, but I like when it's hybrids like that. Like you
Yeah.
have like fantasy with sort of manga art mixed in with I don't know. It just that's that's like a big reason why I get this book. I mean, don't get me wrong, Marjorie Liu's a hell of a writer and the story is awesome, but that
Yeah.
artwork is just out of this freaking world.
Yeah.
And
And those monsters is not in a bad way, but it's really wordy. Like normally I can read
yeah,
a comic book in 15 minutes. Those are half-hour books to read
yeah,
because
and
there's
it's
a lot of,
dense. Not only wordy, but
yeah,
dense.
yeah,
Like you have to
yeah,
like you really have to pay attention to what's going on and like you're like, oh, this character from back then, and it's this whole mythology that she sets up, you
yeah,
know. Um,
yeah. It's definitely a different kind of book.
yeah, and then I got
Looks awesome.
Batman Damned Volume 3. It's the last one of the three. This is part of that black label that DC's
Oh yeah,
putting out that's like adult content. Um,
cover looks
this is
awesome.
the infamous Batman penis book. This is it. The issue
Oh,
one is
that
the one with
one.
the
Yeah,
penis. Yeah.
yeah.
But the art is insane. I mean, in this. But that's the last one of that. And then I got Scalped book 2, which is Jason Aaron. Um that's his Indian reservation like crime story.
Yeah,
It's fucking badass, man. Like
it's awesome.
easily one of the best things that Jason Aaron has written, hands down.
Really.
Yeah, it's so different than his Marvel stuff. I mean, it's like grimy crime, just hardcore stuff. It's great. Which, dude, you have got to get Baby Teeth. You being a
Yeah,
Donny Cates fan, like
yeah.
this is like prime Cates shit. Like this is like up there with the best of his stuff, easily.
That's
Uh,
fine next on my radar.
you would love it, and it's easy. You move through it, you'll be done. Like it's not. It's like the opposite of monstrous. I mean, you'll.
Right.
It's absolutely fantastic, but it's a quick read. I mean, you're through, and that's it. Let's see, Absolute Carnage #3. It's great. Um, Blade Runner 3 was awesome. Sea of Stars is still proving to be great. Uh, Daredevil 12. Okay, so my two favorites were Daredevil 12, which is Chip Zdarsky. Um, and I don't know if you remember, but Kingpin's mayor of New York right now. Did you know that?
Yeah, I think I did know that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's fucking crazy. So he's mayor of New York. Um, he's been like basically getting out of crime and like trying to play the straight game because that's like a more attractive property to him. It's harder to work in that world of politics and power and stuff.
Right.
But this issue it's crazy. It ends like whoa. It's just awesome. It's an awesome book already, but Daredevil 12 particularly has a very, very awesome ending. So
Yeah, that's the next Marvel book I want to catch up on. I think.
oh,
I
it's
really
so
like
good, dude. It's
Daredevil.
brutal. Yeah. It's brutal, man. And then, but my favorite book, hands down, not just of this past 2 weeks, but possibly of the year, and maybe one of my favorite of all time is I read volumes 1 and 2 of the Flintstones, which is
What?
I know. So
I
it's
was not
Mark.
expecting that. I
I
was starting
know.
to
I know.
guess as you
Listen,
were building it up.
I know. Hear me out though. It's Mark Russell who did. He's doing Second Coming, and
Yeah.
he did Snagglepuss, and he does the Wonder Twins. This is like the book that he won awards for and stuff, and it's not like straight like you hear Flintstones and you think like the cartoon.
Yeah.
He takes that and he like I don't even know how to explain it. It's just so fucking funny. It's such
Really?
like it's such a commentary on our time and like a dead on commentary of what modern life is like using the Flintstones to comment on it.
Really?
Uh dude, I mean it like the time it came out through I think 2 or 3 years ago. It dropped.
Just like 2016. It looks like.
Yeah, 3 years ago. And it I didn't know what to expect. I kind of knew what to expect because it's Mark Russell. I knew it was going to be like tongue in cheek, very sarcastic, sour. But of all his works, this is by far the best. Yeah. Like if you're going to get
Really?
any Mark Russell book, get this one because it's like his lifetime achievement. Like I flew through volume 1 and I bought volume 2 immediately after I read volume 1. And I never
All
do
right.
that.
Really? All
Yeah,
right, I'm
I
gonna
don't.
have to read it then.
Dude, I'm serious.
The
I'll tell you,
Flintstones.
you're not
I'm
gonna
looking at
regret
it
it.
now. I like that. I like the art and stuff. It
I
looks
know.
cool.
Well, it's Steve Pugh who did he did that Breaking Glass Harley Quinn thing I just read. He's a really good artist. So uh but yeah, dude, it's just you'll know what I'm talking about. Read one issue. And I promise you, if you read one issue and you're unhappy, that's fine. Let me know. But I'm telling you, you will not be. You're gonna read one issue and you're gonna be like, "Oh my god, this is great."
All
I'm
right.
telling you, it's just so good, so good. And that's
All right.
it. That's it.
Flintstones and Baby Teeth. Those are the two that I'm gonna read
Flintstones and
before
Baby
the
Teeth.
next show.
Yes,
So, yeah.
that's what I'm absolutely that I hands down those two. Yeah. And the art in Baby Teeth is awesome too. I don't remember who it is off the top of my head, but it's about like the son of
Gary Brown.
yeah, it's about the son of Satan. Uh, and this girl like has the baby, and these groups are after it, and she doesn't know that it's the son of Satan. She's trying to take care of the baby. It's great. Yeah,
Hmm.
but
Sounds
no, it's great. Absolutely cool. Oh, and real quick, the two items from NYCC. I didn't follow it too much, but the two that I picked up on that I was really enthused about is speaking of Donny Cates, he's going to be taking over Thor next year after the Jason Aaron run ends.
awesome.
Also, Thor right now has only one eye and a beard, and he's blonde. I mean, he's always blonde, but one eye,
Yeah.
a beard, and I think he had like the horned helmet and stuff, and this the cover shot that they show from the new Thor #1 coming out. He's very different looking. He's wearing all black. He's completely shaven. It's it's
Yeah, dude.
crazy. And
Weird.
yeah, they asked Donny Cates about it. He said he wants to do like a Norwegian black metal version of Thor. So,
All right.
which I'm totally down for,
Oh yeah.
all the fucking
Yeah,
way. Yeah. Uh,
definitely.
and then Al Ewing from Immortal Hulk is going to be switching to Guardians of the Galaxy, which I mean, I don't know how you can't be excited by that. So
Right. Yep.
yeah, and then we got all the X books coming that everybody's freaking out about. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Are they? Do you know if did they say that they're gonna? Is he still gonna be doing Hulk, and is Donnie still gonna be doing Venom and shit? Like, or are they switching everything up?
he's doing Venom, but the Silver Surfer wraps up. Guardians, he's jumping off of, and I think that's it, right? Oh, Absolute Carnage wraps up limited series. So yeah, he's only gonna have Thor and Venom.
Is Ewing still gonna be doing Hulk?
I think so. Yeah, I
Just
hope
taking
so.
out another book. Yeah. These guys, I don't know how they can pump out so much art and make it still be so great at the same time.
I
Like,
know it's not
yeah,
cookie cutter at all. I mean, it's not just like, hey, I'm just writing this to, you know, because we've had our issues with Marvel books before where it felt like
yeah,
that was happening, where it was just like, you know, I'm trying to make a
right,
living and I'm writing a book. This
yeah,
is not that. This is like borderline like high art.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
definitely like the fucking Immortal Hulk book. Jeez, in fact, I guess we should start off with that, huh?
Yeah, let's get
Let's
into it.
start
Mortal
off
Hulk
with it.
23.
Mortal Hulk 23,
Yeah. And
written by Al
everything up.
Ewing. You want to kick it
Yeah.
off?
Sure. Yeah, I'll just say like we mainly I don't know if we've ever done anything besides a number one on the CBBC, but I think well
Oh, we did a number two.
yeah, Absolute Carnage number two, didn't we?
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as when we're doing current books like this, I think it's safe to say that it's spoilers for everything up until that issue. Like we 1 through 23. I mean, 23 will be what we focus on, obviously, but
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's other stuff. I think that's
Yeah.
what's cool about picking current run issues is we can talk about the series kind of as a whole rather than just one issue. So
Yeah, and I think you miss out a lot if you just do the number one because in introductory episodes or issues, I mean, are so different than the rest of the series. Sometimes it's
right,
a lot better than the rest of the series because they're trying to draw you in, so they hit you harder with stuff, and then it kind of falls off after that. If it's a really good book, it's the opposite, where the first issue is pretty good, but you start getting into the meat like 5, 6 issues in.
right, yeah,
And that's Immortal Hulk all the way.
yeah. It's so crazy at this point. Just
I know.
everything that's going on, like it wasn't even really a big part of issue 23, but the whole Bruce Banner split personality thing, like Joe,
Yeah.
that shit is weird. Who the fuck is Joe, man?
Go fix it. So wait, I know that you might not be aware of this, but Joe Fixit is an old Hulk. He was like I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure he was the Gray Hulk.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from way back. Yeah, Gray Hulk. Joe Fixit. He first appearance was Hulk issue 324. Um and he like owned a casino.
Yeah, I knew. Talked about
Yeah.
that.
So I think it was a callback to that, but it's interesting how he slid that in. It was so just in classic Al Ewing fashion, like that's how he brought in Joe Fixit. It's
Right.
crazy.
Yeah, he has. There's Bruce. There's Joe. There's like Devil Hulk, and then there's like a different Hulk too, isn't there? Doesn't he have like 4 personalities at this point or something? Like it's
Well, he's got more than even that, but yeah,
probably.
yeah. There's
And And Betty's all fucked up.
Oh my god! I actually wrote that in my notes. Betty's one of my favorites. Like whoever designed, like I'm assuming Joe Bennett designed that character, but God, like what drugs was he on when he fucking like who? Yeah, I mean that is so off the deep end.
She's straight up the horror show, Betty.
Yeah,
Right now, and she's
yeah, she's just like ambling along, like talking with the wings in the back and the eyes glowing and the bird's feet and all that. It's like Jesus Christ,
and she's
Gamma
got
Ray Betty.
yeah, and she's got this thing going on where clearly like that. I think it was issue 22 where she was in the bathroom with Rick when he was in the bathtub all shriveled up, and she was human form, and then as soon as Bruce knocked on the door she reverted back to
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
crazy. Like
That's hilarious.
this book, man. Like,
well, dude, I mean, how fucked up is Rick Jones? Jesus Christ.
yeah, they peeled him out of Abomination, and now he's just like Gamma Man.
Well, with those eyes, I mean, he's not as like visually stimulating as Betty is, but he's just horrifying. And they have these panels where it's just his face, it's like staring at you, and you're like, oh my God.
His lips like drooping. He's like basically he's a living dead man. Like this continues our trend of horror books, and
I know.
Like,
I think we naturally seek them out, or we just end up in our laps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so issue 23. I guess we should talk about it a little bit. It's them infiltrating the
base.
The base of 14. What that's the name?
40M base, yeah.
Yeah. And coming in there, blowing it up and working with Gamma Flight, I think they call them now.
Alpha Flight.
Yeah, Alpha Flight, but I think they called them like Gamma something. And
they switched it?
Because they're all the Gamma people. Apparently Puck, I don't know how when Puck ever had Gamma in him, but
Puck killed somebody in that issue.
Yeah.
Like, did he? Is that a normal thing? Like, I don't know enough about Puck to know like what his moral center is, or like what he normally does, but he totally fucking rips somebody's brain out.
Yeah. I mean, he ripped a brain out of a machine. I don't know if that's
I guess, yeah, right.
But that was pretty intense when I saw him do that.
Wow, him stepping on it. He didn't have any hesitation ripping that out and stepping on it. I'll put it that way.
Not at all.
Yeah.
But then just the way the issue ended, obviously, the Abomination starts melting Hulk's skin off. So instead of it hurting him, he just rips the melting skin part off, and Hulk smash.
Yeah, the fact that he says it through says it through his jaw as like his skin's ripped off, and he just says Hulk smash.
Oh, awesome!
Oh man, I love it. I love that he's just not letting anything stop him. He's just like, he's just powering through everything.
Yeah, I mean, Hulk's been unkillable like since forever, but it's always been like, oh, a bullet can't kill him or something like that. Yeah. This is like, oh no, he's ripping all his skin off his face, and now just like they're taking the unkillable to a whole nother level. Like when they hit him with that light gun and he was melting. Like it's.
Oh, I was gonna say that Bennett's pencils are just incredible, and they fit the the tone of the book so well. Like the fact that, and this happens over many issues where things like stretch out a lot. Like there's a lot of like muscles sort of just pulling and bending and like heads and arms like just contorting all over the place, and it's so horrifying to watch. It's just like, oh, it's just
it's fucked up.
it's so crazy. That I gotta say, what was deeply unsettling was that knock knock joke at the end with Rick. I was like, what? I was like Ira who? Yeah, no, that dude. Like, Al Ewing is writing from a very twisted place. I mean, I don't. It's so great. I'm so glad that Marvel is just allowing him to do this, and they're just like hands off with him, and like, go ahead, dude. Write some knock knock jokes with some dead people and Gamma and brains being smashed and skin being torn off, and possibly the most horrifying Hulk that we've ever seen in a comic book. I mean, his eyes, like the way Joe Bennett draws his eyes, they're just piercing. I mean, like every single panel that you see the Hulk's face, his eyes are terrifying.
And that was part of this issue, like where it started with the reporter that they're having tag along with him, and they're saying don't look into his eyes, like when the Hulk warning came on the TV or whatever.
I love that. I love that so much. I was like, it's like a weather bulletin.
Like a tornado warning, except a Hulk warning.
Get under your couch. The Hulk's in that area. It's just so different than like the way the Avengers presented him and the way that we've seen Hulk to this point. Like, we haven't seen Hulk as a monster in a very long time, I feel like. And definitely not to this scale. So it's so awesome to see it. Like, he's like a walking Duke, essentially. And the fact that, like, the Avengers kind of made him candy and, like, acceptable by the masses. I mean, yeah, he's cool to see on screen, but I much prefer like a horror Hulk like that. Just all day, man, all day.
Yeah, I love it. It is pretty cool of Marvel to let like you said, just to let them do this with the Hulk when the Avengers is still the MCU. That's still all going on. Like some kid who loves the Hulk and the Avengers goes out and picks this book up, they're going to be in for a treat, dude.
Yeah.
Mom,
and I mean, in game, we got probably the nicest Hulk we've ever gotten. In that Ruffalo Hulk that we got. Sure. And this is the exact opposite of that Ruffalo Hulk. I mean, it's just no. You don't want kids to read that. They'll have nightmares.
They'll be scarred from that. And then on top of that, there's the whole weird his dad and Hal thing with the green swords and stuff. There's so much going on. I think
is the scariest character in the book.
Oh
man.
Just
that his like kind of preachery outfit that he's got, and like the pointing and the mustache, like, dude, that's some scary shit. Thank you, Marvel. I'm so thankful.
Thank you. That's so awesome.
I hope that book keeps going. So anyway,
I think it will. People love it. It's like the highest rated, one of the highest rated Marvel books out right now. It's got a bunch of awards and shit.
And he keeps writing it at that level. I mean, we get those like those quotes at the beginning from like, high lit. I mean, it's crazy that he's keeping up the pace that much. It's like, wow. Normally books start to kind of drop a little bit by this point, and this was just flying high.
Right. Yeah. It's still going hard. Not slowing down.
Cool.
Yeah. If you're not reading Hulk, Start. It's awesome.
Gotta do it. Gotta do it. Yeah. Even if you haven't read Marvel stuff in a long time, or if superhero books aren't even your thing, this is not that. I mean,
Yeah.
if
Exactly. Yeah.
you like really messed up characters and phrases and themes and references to, yeah, it's so great in so many ways.
Right. Yeah, it's like DC has like they started their Black Label thing, and Marvel's just like, nah, let's let them do that, but let's just keep it in the Marvel universe and see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, like, what's brilliant about what Ewing's doing in it is he's finding a way for it to be provocative without using language or nudity or any
Yeah,
of that. It's a
totally.
psychologically horrific
Yeah,
series. It's not like horror that is super. I mean, I guess it is graphic in a way, but it's not like blood and guts graphic. It's like it's just I don't know.
it's scary.
Yeah,
Yes.
great
Yeah,
fear.
yeah, for sure. It's awesome.
Speaking of fear,
You can
our,
hear the
our
plot.
next book,
Yeah.
the plot number
Gee.
one. This is by Tim Daniel and Michael Morisi, art by Joshua Hickson, and this was put out by Vol Comics. This is our indie pick for the this episode. Uh, I totally dug it, man. I'm in.
Yeah. Yeah, I really liked it. I think like we say we like everything, but
I know, but I can tell you, like,
like it's
I know which issues, I know which series, like, I'm gonna go back to. I can
right.
totally honest about that. Like, I liked
This
Thumb.
one,
I didn't go back to it.
right.
I know which ones that when I
Like
read them, like,
animosity,
I'm
I'll
hooked.
go back to animosity, and
Yeah.
like and Space Bandits. I'll keep reading that, and
Oh yeah,
like
I'm already on top of that one.
yeah, and this I definitely want to keep reading. Just they laid out so much stuff. They laid out so much stuff without it being like they laid out a bunch of plot lines but kept it exciting and
Yeah.
it's and also just a really great first issue. I feel like
It was
the
very understated
yeah,
the way that they
yeah.
paced it, but they kept drawing you in the whole time. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I already like the characters, and I mean, they left so many things on like unanswered. Like, what's that fucking green monster that killed dude and his wife? Like,
Yeah. Exactly.
yeah,
And wasn't he saying? I mean, I assumed it was either the dad or something to do with his dad because he was saying the
yeah,
phrase,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
He was
and
repeating that phrase that he mentioned at the press conference with his employees or whatever, or his coworkers.
right, and then yeah, and he said like right when him and his wife, the pharmaceutical guy, like the dad of the two kids, when they snuck away from the party or whatever and were about to get it on, he said, "You know my father," and then that was when the green monster was there. So that
Yeah.
probably is his father, but
Yeah.
but
It's crazy.
yeah, that's what is cool about this as a first issue. They were building like the his son, the pharmaceutical head, and his wife seemed like they were going to be main characters or something, and then
Right?
halfway through the first book, this green monster comes in and brutally murders
Yeah.
both of them.
Oh, I mean, it's so brutal and
Uh,
intense. Like it happens in a matter of panels. I mean, it's like what? Like after we get introduced to them, when they are together, the
yeah,
second that thing comes in, I mean, it's done. Like you see her neck get cracked,
yeah.
gets tossed out a window, and then he gets tossed out, but he's okay for a little bit, and then
For a
until that
second,
thing jumps on him. Yeah,
yeah, and
yeah,
smashes his
like,
head into the ground.
right.
Yeah,
It's like, God damn. But
yeah, and
I'm
then
totally
then
into like
Uncle
the
takes the
story.
kids,
Yeah,
and,
right,
and they
right.
both basically looks like the the boy's dead. Like, I don't see how he's gonna get
Probably.
saved from that.
He's being pulled into a lake. I know. Yeah.
Maybe his dog will save him. I don't see how a
But the
dog
thing
could
is,
save
like,
him from
I know he should be dead. It looks like he probably will be. But I feel like if you drop a hint, like if you drop an idiosyncrasy about a character, like he just talks to animals and, and he doesn't talk to
that. Right.
people and he just motions to them, I feel like that's too unique of a character to kill off in the first issue. You know, like
Right.
I feel like they wouldn't introduce a weird thing about him and then kill him off that quick. So it looks like he's gonna die, but I think he's being dragged to something else or somewhere else. Unless, like you said, the dog saves him. Uh,
Yeah.
the art was fantastic.
Yeah.
It
Real
was
gritty.
it's gritty. It felt like very vintage horror, sort of 70s
Yeah.
horror vibe. Um, that was Joshua Hickson. Like I've never heard of him before this book, so I would love to see more of his stuff. That's awesome. I definitely plan on getting this again. I feel like it was funny. Oh, one thing. Okay, two things. One thing that was really funny was like the sheriff shows up, right, and he's being nice in front of the kids. The second the kids
Yeah.
walk away, he
Yeah. And
totally
they're
has
like,
got
"Fuck
beef
you,
with this guy. Yeah, he's like, "What the fuck are you doing back here?" I was like, "Damn."
Yeah.
So clearly, we'll find out like something with the Blaine family. Like, I'm assuming Chase is not a great guy, or
Yeah.
has a history in this town where their house is. Uh,
Right. He seems like the kind of fuck up little brother or whatever. So,
we'll see. I mean, the thing is though, he was doing like construction work, so like it wasn't just that he was sledgehammering something himself. He was showing people what to do, like which made me think like, well, maybe he flips houses or something. But
right. Yeah. That's what it seemed like he was. That's what I thought he was doing with their old house until he brought the kids there.
yeah,
Like,
well, he might be
I,
renovating it. You know, he might be updating it so they can
so they
live
can't
there.
sell
But
it or sell it or live there.
yeah,
But I think, I mean, who knows? But yeah, I think that it seemed like they were renovating it so he could sell it, but then he brought the kids in. But now the house is turning into trees and killing the
well,
kids.
yeah,
So who
trees
knows?
attacking. The other thing I noticed I was going to point out is when she walks into the house and she's looking at the photos on the wall, there's a picture that's upside down, and I thought that was so brilliant and creepy,
Yeah,
dude. She
yeah,
looks, and it's obviously a point that they wanted to make because they close in on
yeah,
it, and she's looking at it, and her eye gets bigger.
yeah.
Uh, that was
And then,
fucking awesome. That's the kind of stuff that like you'll snare me in a book, dude, if you do stuff like that.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, just really, really great for first issue, and just everything like that. That is awesome. Yeah, like yeah, she sees the upside down picture. It falls to the ground,
And then the
and then
trees.
yeah, and then she starts taking.
Clearly, we have a thing for horror books. I didn't know that that's what this was, but you know,
It's funny
it
because
is what
I
it
don't.
is.
I'm not a horror movie fan. I don't really like horror movies. Like, but apparently I really like horror comics because they're
Great.
awesome. Yeah.
I know. I I I didn't have much of a history with them to be honest, up until this. And the thing is, I do love horror films. Uh, I just didn't know what horror comics to get because there's just so many comics. I don't know what to pick, but yeah, we've been getting some good ones. So I'm
Sure.
definitely following up on this. I've never heard of any of these creators, but Vault Comics specifically just keeps nailing it. They're
Oh,
doing such a good job,
yeah.
man.
And
So
Aftershock, and yeah,
yeah,
all these indie companies are really They got some good shit coming
I'm
out.
starting to pick it up. I know.
Yep.
Yep. Cool. Well, next episode, we're gonna be doing the finale to the absolutely masterful House of X and Powers of X at Marvel, aka Hoxpox. So all the kids that are in on it. So House of X #6 wraps that series up. Obviously Hickman and Pepe Larraz, I think, does the art for it. And then Powers of X is Hickman also, and I believe it's R.B. Silva. And I already read House of X, and I just can't even handle how good it is, man. I just, like, I'm not going to go into detail, but I'll save it for the next episode. But I could not have been farther away from X Comics and then had a complete come to Jesus, like, total reversal with this series. And it ends just like it began. I mean, just like amazing. So I'm gonna try to read Powers of It tonight.
I'm really glad we're doing that, because it's gonna. That's the book of all the books that are out right now I want to read the most, but I'm on this game binge that I can't stop playing games. So I'm glad we're forcing me to finish out this run. Because,
dude, I'm gonna tell you this: House of X. I can't speak for Powers of X because I haven't read it yet, but I'm sure it's the same. But House of X 6, you're gonna have goosebumps at certain moments. It's just like so. It's amazing.
So we're breaking the mold a little bit. No indie comic.
No indie, but we got it. We got to feature this.
It deserves it for sure.
Yep.
Read them and watch.
Read them and watch. Join back in. Let us know what you think of them or these books this week in the comments section, and we'll catch y'all on the flip. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'm Dirk. That's Corey. We out.